I'd like to be known as somebody who figured out how to live life my own way, to create a life worth living. Even though I talk a lot about art, money, success, how artists can make money with their art, when I drill down my real purpose in life, like when I really step back and think about it, it's about helping people see that they have the power to create whatever life it is that they want, regardless of what everybody else out there said, including your teachers, your parents, the fine art world, and society. You can have anything you want in life. All you have to do is know what it is that you want, and then you just have to go after it. I wanted a life of travel. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to write books. I wanted to be surrounded by artists and musicians. That was the life I wanted, but I didn't have that life yet. But the biggest compromise that you have to make is you have to give up all the limitations you're stuck to in your own mind. And if it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not a worthy vision. Fear is showing you your mental limitation.
Yeah.
And you want to be very aware of your mental limitation so that you can break through it. If you can't talk about money, you have to learn. And if you say money is not important to me, you're never going to make money.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Welcome to the podcast, Maria. I'm very, very excited to have you on the podcast for our new season. And thank you so much. I know you had to wait for me. And we've chatted a little bit before just to loosen up. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's the morning for me. So my day is just starting. I know
Mine's
it's
almost
late
ending.
for you.
Mine's
Yeah,
almost
thanks for
ending.
having me.
I'm glad. I'm very happy. So, this is like, I'm a little rusty today because I've taken a long break from recording new episodes. And one of the reasons is it gets really hectic. I'm sure you've seen, I had to pack up myself here and all of those things. So, but I'm very excited because I loved having these conversations on the podcast. We are now on the 5th season, which is very exciting because I never thought I'd be able to go this far. So you are a special guest for us, and I'm very looking forward because you also talk about things which is something artists love, but yet it's a love and hate relationship, I would say, money, success, and it's confusing for a lot of people. So we'll dive into it. But why don't
Okay.
you first introduce yourself in your own words? How would you like to be known?
How would I like to be known? I'd like to be known as somebody who figured out how to live life on my live life my own way, to create a life worth living. I think that is, even though I talk a lot about art, money, success, how artists can make money with their art, really, when I drill down my real purpose in life, like when I really step back and think about it, it's about helping people see that they have the power to create whatever life it is that they want, regardless of what everybody else out there says, including your teachers, your parents, and the fine art world and society. I
Can
don't
you
listen to anybody. I
was the
just do what I think I want to do with my own life. And I think everybody should be doing that.
um can you paint me a picture before and after of um before and after of what you were before you are who you are today? Like, were you always like that as
Yeah.
unapologetic, or you know what changed for you?
That is such a good question. I love that question because it forces me to drill it down deeper and further into the past. I grew up in a very violent household. And I remember as a child, I remember being 7 years old and looking at my parents. They were throwing things at each other, and there was a lot of violence in the house, and it was not a safe place. And I remember looking around and saying, I'm not going to be like these people. When I'm old enough, I'm going to be different. I'm going to live a happy life. And I did so then I knew that I wanted to write books, even as
You
a
always knew that?
teenager.
Were you somebody who would use words more often than the other ways of expression, let's say?
Yes. But I didn't have any confidence in myself, and I didn't know anybody who wrote books, and I didn't know how to go about it. So anyway, I ended up getting a job in corporate America, a 9 to 5 job, which was fine. It was good. It got me out of poverty. Um, but I was never really happy.
Happy about it.
And so so the turning point for me was when I met my husband, and he was painting surfboards for a living, and
Oh,
he
she
said
was
something to
painting?
me. He was painting surfboards for a living when I
Oh,
met him.
wow.
So, but I remember him saying to me, and we had only known each other for a few months, and I remember him saying to me, Maria, you can have anything you want in life. All you have to do is know what it is that you want, and then you just have to go after it. And I remember thinking, well, that sounds a
That's true.
little too simple. But I knew what I wanted. I wanted a life of travel. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to write books. I wanted to be surrounded by artists and musicians and
Okay.
interesting people. That was the life I wanted, but I didn't have that life yet. But I realized I could have it once I made the decision to move towards it. And that was what I started to do. I started making decisions in my life that led me down that road.
Hmm.
And then I can say for the last 20 years I've worked for myself. I've written 8 books,
Wonderful.
and I've traveled all over the world with my husband and my kids, doing things on my terms, not anybody else's terms, living life on my own terms.
Did you ever feel, Maria, that you had to choose between, something like, often artists are told, you can be creative and successful, but you'll have to compromise, let's say, your personal life. You may not be as involved as a parent. Maybe you might not even want to have children. They will take away your focus. Or if you want to make more money, then you'll have to compromise your creativity. Or if you want to be more creative, then you have to accept that you'll have to maybe, not have enough funds, poverty, all of those things. Did you ever feel like you had to choose between
Yes,
any of these?
absolutely. So to have a life of travel,
Yeah.
when we weren't making a lot of money, here were some of the hard choices I had to make. I wanted to get a puppy, but how do you travel when you have a puppy?
Yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah.
So I never got a puppy. Okay.
Okay.
I needed a new car one year, and we got a little bit of money. My mother owed me a lot of money, and she paid me back just a little bit of it. And I was like, okay, we could get a new car. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this car is going to cost like $13,000 a year after all the everything. Why don't we just go to New Zealand for a month instead? So those were the choices that I made.
You had
So I
to.
kept my old car
Yeah.
and we went to New Zealand and lived out of a camper van for a month. And those were choices that I made over and over and over again. I don't regret any of those choices. I I have such a rich tapestry of memories of doing the most amazing things all over the world, hiking mountains, going in glowworm caves, paddleboarding, the Colorado River, like just doing so many things, that just all these bucket list things that were really important to me. And having a life where I was always there for my son when he was a baby and when he was a child. I was involved in all his school stuff because I worked for myself, so I set my own hours.
Yeah.
Um, but the biggest compromise that you have to make is you have to give up all the limitations you're stuck to in your own mind.
Yeah. Yeah. What was
And that's the
so,
biggest one.
so Maria, what was your first push about eight? Once you get through one, it's easier to get through the next and the next and the next. But what's the most hard part of this whole process is to getting started, to finding the plunge, to doing things for the first time, because they scare you, they intimidate you. You're afraid of putting yourself out there. You're afraid of failure. You're afraid of losing what you have. Maybe if it's worthless, am I wasting my time? Like all of those questions that we all have in our head. Can you take us through that journey? Like where were you when? What brought you actually to write the first book, and what that looked like?
Okay, so this is all really good. So first of all, to get started is to know what you want and get a vision in your mind of what you really want. And if it doesn't scare you a little bit, it's not a worthy vision. It
Yeah,
has to scare you
it
a
has
little
to
bit
feel big. Otherwise, what are you working towards?
because that fear is showing you your mental limitation.
Yeah,
And you want to be very aware of your mental limitation so
yeah.
that you can bust it, so that you can break through it. So that's it. Number one is getting the vision and writing it down so that it's crystal clear and
Okay.
expanding on it. We do this work in my artist mastermind. I lead an online artist mastermind, and we have live meetings every week. And we often will visit our big vision. And then I'll say to them, okay, now I want you to add more detail to make it bigger.
Yeah.
And so this way we expand. So once you have that vision and you expand on it, notice where the fear is and go, okay, this is what I need
Made it.
to be aware of and
Yeah.
work on.
And it
And
also
then you
starts to
start
feel more
taking
real.
start taking steps towards it. For me, writing that first book, well, the first book I wrote, I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was probably 20 years ago. Yeah,
Wow.
20 years ago.
20
And
years.
it was a very short book. It's called Living the Dream.
Okay.
And it's really based on these principles, but a very simplified version of it. And I just made that book available as a PDF. I never printed it.
Oh,
So I'm going
20
to
years ago,
revise
having a
that book.
PDF book was very visionary, isn't it?
What?
I'm saying having a PDF book 20 years ago was really visionary. Like, we were not in a world where ebooks were popular back then. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't be that common.
True. And then and I'm going to revise that book. That's the next book I'm going to work on and bring
Okay.
it back. Only I'm going to expand on it and bring it up to date. But
Okay.
my most popular book is the Art Money Success book.
Yeah.
And I'm going to admit something kind of embarrassing, but
Okay.
it took me more than 7 years to write and finish and publish that book. And it was all fear that held me back. 7 years. Imagine if you're a painter and you work on one painting for 7 years. It's ridiculous.
What were
Ridiculous.
can you take us through what were the biggest, like, what were the fears, and then how did you find yourself through them?
The fears were the main fear for me when it comes to writing is saying something wrong
Yeah.
and being harshly judged for it. I can't stand to be harshly judged. And it goes back to my childhood. Everything, all of our triggers as adults
Come
is
as
it's just us being a 7-year-old all over. You are still the 7-year-old girl that you were at 7 years old. And that's me. So like our 7-year-old within us runs the show. And for me, it was the fear of saying something wrong, because if I ever dared say something wrong, I would get hit and I would get physically abused in my home. And so I grew up being afraid of saying the wrong thing. And here I am wanting to be a writer, and a writer does say the wrong thing to some people, right?
A writer is, after all, a human.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was what held me back the most, was just the fear of criticism. But I have this thing inside me that has to create. I have to write books. So I am fighting the criticism, the fear constantly, and my need to create and to get the work out eventually wins over the fear. But I just finished writing a book that took me 2 years, and it's made me physically ill writing this book. And I am physically ill because it's so much trauma involved. It's called COVID, A Love Story. And it's about when my husband was dying in a hospital from COVID, and he was on a ventilator for 70 days, and nobody lives
70?
70
Oh my
70 days.
goodness.
Yeah, he's an absolute miracle. But the hell I went through fighting for his life and fighting for alternative therapies to keep him alive, it was a battle. And
How
then
is
he
he
came
now?
home. He's a miracle. He's almost fine now. It's been
Amazing.
almost 4 years,
I'm
but
so glad. I
he
lost my
came
mom
home in
to
a
COVID,
wheelchair. Oh, I'm so sorry.
and
Yeah,
she
I
was on the
lost.
ventilator and she couldn't make it.
How many days was she on the ventilator before
Not
she
even
died?
2. Not even 2.
Yeah. So 85% of the people die within the first 4 days. So ventilators, yeah, it's just death. And it's just horrible. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you went through that.
Yeah.
And my book will, it's a memoir. And so it's reliving not just the
That
horror
pain.
that I went through, but what in America, 1.6 million people died that way.
Yeah. It was a bad time.
But writing the book has been so horrible, and it comes out in a few weeks, and I'm now recording it, so it's on audio as well. So I've been spending long days in the recording studio, and I have 2 more recording days to go.
Okay.
And I got like a sty in my eye, and I got a headache, and I got really sick after 2 days of recording. And I thought, oh my God, this book is just making me sick because I'm reliving this trauma over and over. And I thought, why am I doing this? Why did I even write this book? Why did I do this to myself? And the answer is because I have to.
There's no other way. It's
There's
also you
something
process.
inside me.
It's also, I think, as creative people, as artists, authors, painters. I know after my mom passed away, there was so much of painting, and even today, there's so much of painting, writing I need to do, is because I also need to process those kind of feelings and emotions that I experience everyday basis. Specifically, then I remember after my mom, I came to a shutdown mode, and I literally I completely shut down. But I think that was more because of the shock. But then after that, I came to a point where there was so much of inside me that I needed. There was no other way. And the only way I could process that was just through art and just through writing and just through painting. And I think that is why we're so compelled to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of artists that work through their grief with
Yeah.
painting.
Yeah.
And it is very healing painting and doing any kind of creative thing, and really even just exercise. I mean, just
Yeah, absolutely.
moving
Moving your body.
the emotions out of the tissues, because they say that the issues are in the tissues, right? Your emotions are just stored in
Yeah.
your tissues, and you have to move them out. Otherwise, it will make you sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, tell me something about why a book. Why do you think Art and Money and Success? Why it's such a pivotal book for you and for the audience? What brought you to writing a book like that? Um, your own experience? Anything?
Okay, so I started, I should have led with this at the very beginning, because your audience probably may not know. I have been in the business of art for 25 years, and I started working with my husband 25 years ago. He's an artist.
Yeah.
He was a professional surfboard painter when I met him, and I realized there was so much more we could do with his art. And he was so busy painting all the time, he didn't want to deal with the business side of it. And he actually is a good businessman, but it's he couldn't
It's
scale it bigger to support our family. So I stepped in and I started learning how to take his art, license it to companies to print on their products, how to take one painting and sell so many art prints off of it, that over the years, like one of his paintings that he painted in 2006, to this day, we've made over
oh my
$500,000
goodness.
off of that one piece. And we've done that with multiple pieces of art. Just yesterday, we released a new painting, and in one day, we made over $10,000 in art prints. Like, we've developed this process of that just works. And so I started writing a blog in 2009, like a long, long
Long
time
time
ago,
ago.
for artists. And then artists started coming to me. I started coaching artists one on one. Over the years, I've had mastermind groups. So, like right now, I have an online artist mastermind group, and I help artists do all the things that we do with Drew's art.
Okay.
But my book, Art, Money, Success, it lays out a roadmap, a very specific roadmap for artists to make money with their art. And it's out of the box thinking, it's non-conventional ways. If you follow the fine art world, you will not make money as an artist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, I think I completely agree with that. The system is made for artists not to be able to, live off it. Only just a few
So
percent, and I don't even know. I'm sure what what happens there.
a majority of the artists that I work with directly that make over 6 figures a year
Amazing.
are not educated in the fine art world. So what I've noticed is the more educated an artist is, for example, artists that have an MFA,
Yeah.
a Master in Fine Arts, are least likely to make money with their art. Now, I'll tell you why. Now,
Why?
you can overcome that if you have an MFA. Don't let this discourage you. You
Yeah.
have to
Learn.
unlearn what you learned about the art business
Yeah.
and learn new things,
Hmm.
non-conventional ways to make money.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
give
So
you an example.
yeah, give me an example.
In the fine art world, you will hear a lot of art gallery owners and fine artists say, never sell art prints of your paintings. It
Okay.
lowers the value of your paintings. 100% false. It increases the value of your paintings. So, do you think that a Van Gogh painting is worth less because you can buy a lot of things with a Van Gogh painting on it? No. It's never going to reduce the value. That is BS.
Yeah.
So, we will sell art prints of a painting before the painting sells.
Okay.
We do it all the time. As a matter of fact, we did it yesterday. We just dropped a new art prints of a painting Drew just finished called Trestles. And if
Okay.
anyone follows him on Instagram, his Instagram is Drew Brophy. You can see he released Trestles yesterday morning and released canvas and paper prints of it. We sold like $8,000 in art prints, and then I get a text from one of his art collectors that said, "Hey, is the original painting available? I'd like it." And I said yes, and I sold that painting for $6,500 by text. And so this happens all the time. We do this like 8 times a year with like 8 different paintings.
Amazing. What are other fears that you feel like artists have, and like, ones that you've also focused in the book specifically? What are the things that you're challenging for them? What are you asking them to really focus on?
I'm asking them to do things that feel hard, but they will get easier. For example, having a money conversation. If you can't talk about money, you have to learn how to talk about money. Because if you can't learn how to talk about money, you're never going to make money.
Yeah.
And if you say money's not important to me, you're never going to make money. So if you say that, if you ever say that, correct that.
Yeah.
And I want you to stop saying money's not important, because if money is not important, then how do you pay for food? How do you pay your rent? How do you pay for your car? How do you pay for your children's things? How do you take care of your family, your parents, how do you make more art? So money is important. Get over it. It's a part of life. It's not changing yet. Has not changed. It might change in our lifetime. It might not. I don't know. But I'm 60 years old, and as long as I've been alive, money is the only way I can eat. And it's been that way as long as I can remember. So money is important. So that's number one. Number two, get comfortable talking about money and learn how to get comfortable with it. And there's only one way to learn, and that is to talk to people about money.
The more you talk.
So if somebody wants to buy a painting from you, tell them how much it is and tell them how they can buy it. And work through those weird feelings. And I understand it because I went through that in the beginning myself. When I started selling art, when I started having money conversations with clients, with companies, that was the hardest thing for me. But with practice, I got through it. And now I don't even think about it now, because everything, it's just like when you're a kid and you're learning how to brush your teeth, you don't want to do it. Now you can do it without thinking about it. You don't even think about it.
Yeah. What are what are the biggest tools that you feel that artists, if they focus on, they can get more comfortable with, with the idea of representing them? A lot of artists struggle with the idea that, I don't have the skills, I don't know how to market myself. I'm not good with money. It's not even that they're afraid. There's also this notion that they feel they're not good with money. And also the fear of, like you said, the fear of failure and, I'm going to prove people wrong. They said, oh, this is a scam, or, oh, I just proved them right. How do you get past those thoughts and the fear that, oh, nobody will show up. I'm going to send out that email and nobody's going to reply. And what if I quote something too high and that person thinks, oh, this is, oh, she's not real, or I don't know. I mean, what's your thought on this?
There's so much to everything you just said. So I'll go back to the very beginning. The words you say to yourself bring about your reality. So when you say, I'm not good with money, you just created a reality where you're not good with money.
Yeah.
It's not true that you're not good with money. So your words lead to your thoughts, lead to your feelings, and your feelings create your actions.
Yeah.
And then so you start with what you say to yourself. So let's say you really believe you're not good with money, but you want to change that. So you say, okay, instead of saying I'm not good with money, I'm going to correct myself. I'm going to say I'm learning how to be a good money manager. I'm learning how to be good with money. Or you can just go straight to I'm really good with money.
Yeah.
And you just play with that. And then when you have to have a money conversation with someone, before you have the conversation, work out in your mind, okay, this is what I'm going to say. I know the person's going to ask me, how much is it going to cost for this painting? And I'm going to say it's $3,000. And I'm going to say it confidently. And then I'm going to say, this is how I like to take payment. I take payment by either Venmo or, however you take payment.
Yeah.
Make it easy for them to pay you. And then you say to them, would you like to own this piece of art? Would you like to take this home today? Would you like me to ship this to you today? You have to close the deal. You have to get the customer to say, yes, I want it. I have seen so many artists blow it because somebody actually wants to buy something from them. The artist makes it too difficult.
I remember years ago, I had this painting and I had this, I posted a lot of work online and it suddenly blew up, and I was working on this large painting which still sits with me. What's the parent joke about? I was so scared of, and it had a lot of attention. A lot of people would ask me, oh, I really love this, etc. I don't know, one day this woman messaged me out of Instagram and she asked me, oh, I love this piece. I would love to buy it. Please let me know when it's ready and what's it's going to cost. And I remember years ago, I was so afraid that, and also like you said, I also came from the idea of I don't have to outrightly, say, I don't want to look desperate, I need it. I said, and I was so afraid of it that I said, oh, it's not yet ready. And I will let you know once it's done, because I was so afraid to say a price, feel like a imposter. And if I felt like, oh, if I say a price just right now, and she'll feel like, oh, I'm just too desperate. And I felt like, even so many years later also, like, I will always think about that, like, I still don't know why I ever did that. I would never do that today. If somebody asked me even in the middle of the painting and they say, oh, if they want it, I'll be more than happy to say, yeah, you can have it, and I'll take the time. But even when it was almost there, I just couldn't find the courage, because I didn't believe in myself before anything else.
Well, and how do you get to believe in yourself? That's the question. So anybody listening, I know a lot of artists can relate to that story that you just told. I witnessed my own husband doing that at times early on. I mean,
Okay.
he's very, he's been a professional artist his whole life,
So,
so he doesn't do it
yeah.
anymore. But I remember in the early days, he would do that, and I would be like that too. So there's a couple ways to overcome it. Number one, have all your pricing figured out, and if it's not perfect, it's okay. Don't stress over it. If you underprice a painting, it's okay. Don't underprice the next one. Just
One,
be
yeah.
okay with that. No, that's one thing. But the other thing is, to get a different result, you have to take a different action. And that means doing something that feels scary or unnatural. And that is telling someone how much it costs and saying, would you like to make a payment or make a deposit on it?
Right.
That way you can have it when it's finished or when it's ready, but I'll take half of your payment now and we'll call it sold. So I
Yeah.
just did that
I love
yesterday with
that
the
idea.
painting.
Yeah.
I'm getting this painting framed for this guy, but I want the payment now. So I
Yeah.
had him make a $3,500 payment yesterday, and then he's making the rest of the payment. Actually, he's making the rest of the payment in a couple days, he said. But since I got the deposit, it's sold. It's a done deal.
Yeah.
And he is ecstatic. So I want you to stop thinking about yourself and think about the person that's so excited to
Yeah.
have this piece of art, because it's exciting to buy art.
Yeah, and it's a
It's
privilege.
the person buying it is like super excited.
Yeah.
So
And
get out of your head and think about them.
yeah, I love that idea because sometimes uh, if I look at it like if I'm trying to buy a piece, I'm always so excited. Um, what's going to come, how it's going to look, where I'm going to put it up, how it's going to get framed, and often the
Yeah.
mistake that we actually make is that because we are afraid, we often confuse ourselves, and then we confuse the people who are interested, and it never leads to the outcome because we're always overthinking the process so much that we actually miss out on what they want rather than what
Yeah.
we are feeling, and that also becomes a big barrier.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. But you
it's a
just,
great tip.
just breaking through that. And the only way to break through is to do something that feels uncomfortable.
So
And that's it. That's all you can do. And that is how you get confidence
yeah,
and self-esteem and start to see your own value. That's
okay,
it. That's the
tell me
magic pill.
tell me something. We're also reaching the close of the episode, but I want to make it more um, fruitful for everybody.
Okay.
What are the 5 ways, if you were to, let's say I'm the artist and everybody who's listening, what are as Maria, what are the 5 challenges you would give me? Let's say something that can help me fast and quick, something that, can help me make some kind of movement. Let's say if it's a commission somebody's asking, how do I close it? If it's a sale I want to make, if it's a print I want to sell, just five things that can help anybody get out of the comfort zones and make some kind of progress.
Okay. So
Give us
5
some
things. All
challenges.
right. And you want me to make this up on the spot? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Number one, I'm going to go back to the vision, right?
Okay.
Because your vision of what you want, and let me be more specific. Where do you want to be in 3 years?
Okay.
3 years is a good number. So think of your big vision. Like for me, I want to be an international best-selling author that's traveling the world speaking about my books. And I want my books to impact people in a very positive way that makes their lives better in some way. Okay, so that's my vision in a nutshell. So what is your vision for yourself, for your art, and how it impacts other people? And get clear on that. That's number one. Number two,
Okay.
take a step towards that vision. Now, think about what is one thing I can do in the next 30 days that leads to that vision. So let's say your vision is to be an international best-selling artist, right?
Okay.
And you want your art to make change for environmental issues, let's say. Let's just say that's your passion, right? You care about the
Okay.
earth and its environmental issues. All right. So that's your big vision, that your art is going to expose some things that we are harming the earth with, right?
Yeah.
So that's your big 3-year vision. What can you do in the next 90 days? You could create a piece of art that exposes something that's let's say we're harming the oceans. I'm just making this up as I go. How do you do that? You create a piece of art that exposes this, right? So you're going to start this painting, and maybe you're going to do a whole series of art, and you're going to have an exhibit. And at the exhibit, you're going to give a talk, and maybe you're going to, so that is how you take this giant vision and you whittle it down to something you're going to achieve in the next
Immediate. Yeah.
90 days or so.
Mm.
Now you have to work on your mind. So this is number 3. You have to be dedicated to expanding your trust, your belief in your ability to break through your limits that tell you you're not good enough. You have to chip away at that. Number 4.
Number 4.
That ties into deciding to chip away at your limitations. You have to spend time every day getting quiet.
I love that one. My
Now
favorite
you can
part.
do this. You can do this in multiple ways.
Okay.
You can do it by meditating, but not
Yeah.
everybody likes to meditate.
Yeah.
So if you don't like to meditate, you can do it by taking a quiet walk and leave your phone behind. Do not take your phone with you.
Yeah.
I leave my phone behind almost every time I take a walk. Sit in nature. Put your feet in the grass or in the dirt or in the sand. Sit under a tree. If you're crazy like me, hug that tree. I
Yeah.
hug trees all the time.
I love that
because
too.
I love to feel
the earthiness
it.
of the
I love to, and feeling my feet on rocks.
Yeah.
Taking my shoes off. Even if all you do is 5 or 10 minutes, but you have to get quiet and allow your mind to do the crazy thing it does, but just sit there. Because in the getting quiet, we when we start to move from the beta brain waves to alpha brain waves, getting quiet takes us into alpha brainwaves, and that's where we can rewire our brains to start having more trust and in our vision and belief in ourselves. And there's a lot of data and scientific evidence of this. So that's number 4. Let me think. Number 5 is allow yourself to become that person you envision yourself being 3 years from now. So start stepping into becoming another version of yourself, a greater version of yourself. Stepping into that every day, taking action, thinking the thoughts, saying the words, and doing the things that greater version of you 3 years from now is already doing.
Laying the foundations today so that you will be able to nurture it for the next years to come in and become the person that you visioned right in the first step. I love that. I love that trail. Amazing. Thank you so much, Maria. Any parting ways, thoughts that you want to share with our listeners? How can we also support you, follow you, where they can find you if they want to, expand on this?
Yes. So I would love for people to check out my book, Art, Money, Success. You can get it on Amazon and you can get it on other booksellers in most countries in the world. And in the book, there are very practical art business ways of doing some of these things that I talked about. And chapter 2 of the book has you doing a written, like in the book, I guide you on how to write out your vision. And
Vision.
so there's a lot of guidance to it. The other way that you could follow me is just follow me on Instagram, and it's just my name, Maria Brophy. And then go to my website, mariabrophy.com. And there are a lot of free resources. I have a podcast, I have YouTube videos. I put out a lot of free content that you can follow. But my book is really the best thing for artists that are
Okay.
wanting to break out of their own limitations to be able to make money with their art.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm going to make sure that we link all of these things, the book, your website, the podcast, and I hope that everyone who's joined in, you did enjoy as much as I did, and I really appreciate Maria, and I can't wait to finish my copy so that I can also learn all the wisdom that you have to share with all of us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this conversation. Thank you
Same
for
here.
taking me to your audience.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon again. Thank you so much. Just a few more minutes for the files to upload on the cloud. But this was fantastic. I really am glad we did this. The